Most people are well aware of the physical differences between men and women, and this is on full display in the world of professional sports. It's the very reason why men and women compete in separate leagues, because the physical disparity is undeniable. Even elite female athletes will admit that. Despite their skill, strength, and dedication, they aren't on the same physical level as their male counterparts.
It's a completely different sport. The men are a lot faster, and they serve harder, they hit harder. It's just a different game.
So what happens when a woman steps into the ring or the cage against a man who's trained in the art of combat? The answer is often clearly obvious.
Circle out of that cage.
And that is all over.
Let's dive into the times a woman challenged a man to a fight and got hit back by reality. This female boxer shows good movement and technique, but it only took one clean body shot from her male sparring partner to put her down. In a professional fight, a male will often find themselves in a lose-lose situation. They must maintain self-control, composure, and dominance while holding themselves back from hurting their opponent too badly.
Where he wants her. Capro now can go to work. There it is.
Both fighters here do a great job at making the match as compelling as possible. But ultimately, the male fighter makes the decision when he's had enough and ends the fight at will with some hard strikes that leaves the female reeling.
To the body again. Doubling up. Oh no! No Rose in a world of hurt.
Might be close to a standing 8 here.
She's in trouble.
Oran clearly debating it.
How much more can she take? Hands heavy. Oh no!
Oh, left over the top gets through.
She might not get up. Luke Welling, she might not get up. Peter Denman in her corner. Concern on Denman's face. And they call it.
Fair enough, fair enough. Hell of a showing. It's what freedom looks like, everybody.
This female fighter does an incredible job at competing against her male counterpart, even scoring a couple of takedowns.
Solid start with a body kick straight to a head kick.
And Gina looks for that trip there to finish the takedown, and does finish the takedown.
Eventually, the male fighter turns up the heat with his striking and quickly shows the other fighter they were never on the same level.
Yeah, maybe a bit of a mismatch on the striking, but Shane comes in with an arsenal.
Solid striking from the south.
Gina hangs in there with some head movement, rolling with the punches, but she definitely needs to return.
Circle out of that cage.
Oh, and that is all over. Shane Mastrano with the big right hook.
So what happens when two female fighters challenge one man in an MMA fight? It doesn't take long for the much larger male fighter to show the two female fighters that they are severely outmatched. The fight is called after some damaging big shots landed on both female opponents. In this clip, we see UFC world champion Thug Rose.
Nice right hand by Waters. Oh!
This is under. This is tight.
This one might do it.
This is there it is.
So Namajunas appears to be under the chin, not completely. Watterson trying so hard to stay in this fight. Fight to him, there's the title.
tests herself against much bigger male athlete and strongman Mitchell Hooper. Even in a friendly training environment, Rose, the much more experienced and technical fighter, struggles to maintain any form of dominance against her male opponent, as she is severely outsized and overpowered. Mitchell clearly holds back, as there isn't any real doubt in anyone's mind who would win a real fight. Here we probably have the best example of an experienced female fighter going toe-to-toe with a male. Lucia Riker, often hailed as the greatest female fighter of all time, was not just a force in women's combat sports. She was a powerhouse capable of standing toe-to-toe with the toughest opponents, regardless of gender. Known as the most dangerous woman in the world during her reign in both kickboxing and boxing, Riker's punching power was so extraordinary that in a sports science segment, her punches were measured to exceed the force of a male fighter's by 200 pounds. Her strength was legendary. A seasoned trainer and an Olympic male boxer both admitted they couldn't tell the difference between her punches and those of a male fighter when tested. Even against Houston Alexander, a light heavyweight MMA fighter, Lucia hit with the same raw power, proving she was one of the hardest-hitting women in history. Riker was undefeated in her 54 fights against women, with 37 kickboxing bouts, 4 world titles, and 17 boxing matches, 14 of which were knockouts. But the big question remained, how would she do when squaring opposite a male opponent? Her opponent, Somchai Jiti, was no slouch in the ring. He had a total of 14 amateur fights and was a local champion fighting out of Australia. It was a competitive match, with both opponents having some success with the striking. However, it was clear here that it wasn't technique that made the difference. It was power and speed. In the second round, it was clear Lucia Riker was determined to overwhelm her opponent. She pressured Somchai Jiti, pushing him onto the ropes and launching a barrage of heavy punches. After landing several solid shots, she had him cornered and appeared to be in control. But that's when Jiti began landing some strikes of his own, landing a sharp left hook, followed by a right hook and an uppercut that sealed the knockout. So even the greatest female fighter of all time couldn't overcome the physical advantages possessed by a male fighter, despite her unparalleled skill and strength. Somchai Jiti, though not a decorated fighter, had the power, speed, and endurance that ultimately made the difference. It highlights the undeniable physical disparities between men and women in combat sports, where strength, size, and natural athletic advantages can sometimes outweigh even the most extraordinary technique and experience. If you enjoyed watching female fighters get a taste of reality, check out this video to see more instant karma delivered in combat sports. Make sure to like, subscribe, and if you got beef, leave it in the comments.